Okay, I just got this in the mail last night from Armored Day Foundation. Before I start reading what they offered me and what they asked of me, I need to go into a little bit of detail. I've been a big tree supporter my whole life. Back in elementary school, I was part of a program with students and teachers that saved 1,000 acres of rainforest in the Amazon rainforest. Ever since then, I've been a huge advocate of hotspots, hence my atomic frog logo and my rhino logo, which all pertain to protecting wildlife. Arbor Day Foundation. When I was in Humboldt County, I looked into the history museum they have there, and they have a huge exhibit on in Eureka, California, I have a huge exhibit on the redwood trees, identifying how far back, how much growth there was throughout the U.S. In the 1900s, redwood trees were cut down to almost extinction. They were probably the most important tree of that time. Well, even before that, even now. The one thing about them is they do survive in wildfires, although they keep wildfires from happening as well as they multiply and work. They work better with the plants. The droughts we're having now, I believe a lot of that is due to the type of trees that are growing. According to the Arbor Day Foundation survey that I got, what they're asking of me, I do agree with a lot of the things that they're working on right now. However, I think I have slightly more detail than they're offering in this, based on my experiences. The redwood trees is one of many. We have many hardwood trees that are native, even if they're not native, would be good for the environment, to the animals that live in the forest and so on and so forth. Hardwood trees, as well as the sequoia redwood tree, were native in Montana as well as most of the country. During those time periods when there were plentiful varieties of trees, had very little forest fires. Most issues were with people, people and property lines and forms of government within different forming states. So this is what I'm not turning this in. I want to, but I don't have the money to. But yeah, official questionnaire, Arbor Day Foundation 2019 Montana Tree Survey. Please describe your immediate area where you live. Rural. Have you ever climbed a tree? Yes. Where were you? When you were a child, did you ever play under amongst trees? Yes. Did you ever collect leaves, acorns, or pine cones for school project or just for fun? Yes. Do you ever relax in the shade of a tree? Yes. Do you think ponderosa pine is appropriate choice as a state tree of Montana? I said yes, but I still think that the sequoia, the state tree of California, is just as important as any other hardwood tree that could keep us from forest fires. Did you think in general? Do you think in general residents of Montana care Montana about trees than people in the rest of the country? No. Most people don't even think about it. In hindsight, they want to know, but they really don't want to think about it. They think of trees, they think of fires, they think of parks, think of recreation, they think of fires again. So, I mean, I only know this from my local media and people talking about things they like and dislike. So, overall, no, they don't think about it. They don't care about it because they have other things to worry about. They don't want to worry about one more thing. Which one of the following would you say is the single most important function of trees? Has providing shade, providing oxygen, being a source of beauty, absorbing carbon dioxide, slow climate change, filter water, saving energy by cooling our homes and neighborhoods, providing habitats for birds and animals. I said providing habitats for birds and animals because that's the main issue. I'm looking to join the NRA for the same reason. The funding that they have through the NRA does two things: protects our country, and two, protects our wildlife worldwide. The big game hunting that is seen all over the world is funded by the NRA. It's funded to protect the wildlife, set up by our own presidents throughout history of our country to make sure that wildlife is protected worldwide. We have a contract with all these countries that helps our corporation and our religions, which is two other parts of the government that makes us a society of great power and worth around the world. Can you identify the trees near your home, Missoula home? Almost all of them was my answer. How many trees do you have on your property? 4 to 7. We have 1, 2, probably more like 3, I think. Plus the neighbors are right up against a fence, which often, if we were in more of the sticks than the boondocks, we would have an issue with possible fires. Have you ever planted a tree? No. Have you ever do you have a bird feeder near your home? Yes, my neighbors do. Yeah. They make birdhouses and mailboxes and stuff. So, but yeah. So then it goes into asking for donations. How do you think Montana has done conservation in the past year? Poorly. On a scale of 1 to 10, with the 10 being the most important, how important do you think it is to increase communities' tree canopy? 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, with the 10 being most important, how important do you think it is to restore forests destroyed by fires? 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being most important, how important do you think it is to replenish the trees in national forests? 10. On the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most important, how important do you think it is to save the Earth's rainforest? 10. On a lighter note, before I read about how much I would donate, on a lighter note, trees that are endangered add value to your property, and mineral rights identify the property lines. So even if you have no home on a plot of property and you only have endangered trees, hardwood trees, trees of great value in that way that are seen worldwide, that builds value to any other property you have, period. So now here's what I would say if I had money, $1 million. And it's time to redeem all your free gifts vouchers. I am enclosing all my free gifts vouchers and my donation of $1 million. This amount will especially help. In addition to your 10 free trees, we'll plant 10 trees in one of our national forests. So I don't have any, the credit card information is not here. My email address is danielwest406@gmail.com. So that's what I have, and then it has also select an option below. Send me 10 free fast-growing Norway spruce trees and 10 free fragrant lilacs. So yeah, on a political side, which I don't see myself as political. I see myself more as social than political. I focus more on corporation and religion versus government. However, this is important. Yes, fatherhooding is, as you grow in power and wealth and responsibility, fatherhooding is more important. I've identified my future stocks as such. If a stock that it's not a threat of any sort, if a stock is identified as toxic to the environment, to the country, to the people, to the religion that I hold, which is a feminist religion, a goddess religion, I will not pull money from that company. However, I will not add money to it. Long-term investment, it is toxic. It is separated, and until it turns into more of my liking, I will not add money to it. I will not pull it out and withdraw from it. I will have more of my personality in that company. Until that happens, they don't get any more money. This is the future plan, this 10-year plan. On a larger scale, the places that agree with me on protecting wildlife, children, families, homes, corporation, so on and so forth, those countries that have these governments that have more restrictions than corporation, more restrictions than religion could ever have, if they're doing wrong, the contracts I'm setting up and have set up through, I mean, we all do this through our corporations, Coca-Cola, Hershey Chocolate, so on and so forth. Those contracts protect the people, that will isolate the issues, that protect our mutual agreements. People that like to travel the world don't want to be kidnapped and stopped in the middle of their travels just because they have different tastes, different likes, different views of government, so on and so forth. That should not matter anywhere on this planet. And to keep that from ever happening, it goes into who's putting what into what corporation. The trickle-down effect is there's 3 parts of crime: human trafficking, weapons trafficking, and drug trafficking. You have the codependent, the blind leading the blind, and that is within that triad. If you separate yourself, become independent from all that stuff, you have the choice of dominance and or submission. Within government is automatically submissive to corporation and religion, which is never separated. You separate corporation, you have a war, you have chaos. Corporation is all our families all around the world. You never know who's related to whom in what country. So, as a warning, not a threat, identifying this connection that we all have, the fatherhooding we must do, pertaining to the habitats as well as the animals, as well as the families in these countries. We all have the same obligations. We the people is universal. Okay? And I've tried to add definition to myself. Knowing myself, identified how simple this had to be in order to explain it clearly in as little time as possible, so I could put this on YouTube as fast as possible. So this has been floating in my head like water for a very long time, and it takes one moment, a letter, to have something slightly off to add detail to, and I'm grateful to have that, grateful to know my response should be, because as I'm growing in power, and power is separate from money, in one thing: connectivity. We connect to our religion, corporation, government through our social networks. That's the power. The money is separate. The money is floating there and makes things happen faster. So it is a vehicle versus the energy that contains that vehicle. The road, the sky, whatever you want to call it, that energy that draws us from point A to point B with that vehicle we know as money. That's the connection. Anyway, before I get lightheaded from not eating breakfast, I am definitely going to say farewell and see you on YouTube, hopefully soon on Facebook. Enjoy my poetry, my song lyrics, so on and so forth. I have a lot of research to do still, a lot of learning to do. It's amazing what I don't know. And so yeah, maybe we could learn all that together. Blessed be.